Hello and welcome to my cross stitch update for March 2016. It's Claire here. I have got not a lot to show you in terms of progress this month. It's been a bit of a slow month in terms of cross stitching, but what I have done is I have pulled out all of my cross stitching stuff to sort out, instigated because I thought I would do the tag that Adele put out, the For Reals tag. And one of the questions on that is to answer how many whips you currently have. And that's the question I've avoided answering for quite a long time and have been in denial over. So I thought this would be a good opportunity for me to actually have a look at what I actually had in my stash and what I have worked on recently, but also stuff that I've kind of put aside and not looked at, some of it for a very long time. And actually I'm really realising now as I've started, I haven't actually counted how many things I've got to show you here, so I'll try and count as we go along, but knowing me I'll probably lose track. But you'll see, actually it's not as bad as I thought it was. There's not as much here, but some of it has been here for quite a long time. So I thought I'd just start off and go through all of these, and some of these you'll recognise because if you've been watching my videos you'll have seen that I've worked on them, and others will be a surprise to you because you would have never seen them before because they've obviously not been worked on in the time that I've been doing these videos. So the first one I've got to show you here is the Bothy Threads piece that I've been working on, and this is beside the seaside deck chairs. So last time you saw this, and I did take photos, so if I've got time at the end of this I'll try and figure out how you insert them, because after my last video I actually took some photographs of my current whips, but I haven't worked out how I can insert them yet. And I'm also wondering if I'm going to be able to do longer videos, because I had such a hassle last time that I actually just did a really quick re-record under 15 minutes to get it uploaded. So I might end up doing this video in several sections just because that might be the easy way to get around all the hassle. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, last time you'd seen it, I'd done this top corner, and as you can see, I've done a fair bit more work on this one. So everything, this lovely crease line that's very conveniently present on my work. There's lots of crease lines, but this nice crease line down the middle, everything that's on the other side of this crease line has been added in during this month. And this is probably the one that I've worked on the most. I haven't done that much stitching in March. Just forgetting what month we're in already, but yeah, in March, just because I had lots of other things going on, and actually I kind of was a bit not demotivated but just distracted, maybe that's the way to say it, by other things going on. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with the progress that's going along on this one, and I'll probably look to do a bit more work on this one today if I get round to it, because as I said, I've pulled out all of my cross stitch stuff to have a good sort out, so I may end up just spending the rest of today doing that rather than doing any stitching. So for Adele's first question, the For Reals tag, it's For Reals, what level of stitcher do you consider yourself to be? I've never really thought about what level of stitcher I am. I mean, in many ways I might say I'm a beginner. I've been stitching for, I don't know, 25 years maybe, on and off. But have I progressed in that time? I'm really not convinced that I have. Some days I'm okay, but other days I'm definitely a beginner level. But I think it's one of those things that it's more about the projects I choose, because most of my projects are wholly cross stitch rather than speciality stitch orientated. And I have done some classes for speciality stitch. I mean, I went to the Royal School of Needlework at Hampton Court a couple of years ago and did an embroidery weekend course, so I know I can do all of those stitches. It's just that that's not what I choose to do. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just not worried about what level of stitcher I am. I stitch, therefore I am. How about that? So how many, for reals though, how many whips or UFOs do you have, including those that you gave up or threw out? I don't think I've ever given up on a cross stitch. I mean there's stuff here that you'll see that I've put aside, but I don't think I've fully given up on them. I'm pretty sure that I've never thrown anything away. I don't think so. So how many do I have? Well, that many. However many are in this pile, and there's quite a lot lurking, that's how many whips that I have, unless I've forgotten anything, but I think everything's here. I have to count as we go through. For reels though, are you easily enabled? Well, duh. I mean, just look at all of this stuff I've got around me. Yeah, I'm very easily enabled. But actually I don't mind that, because cross stitch is probably it is my main hobby. So actually being enabled with that really doesn't bother me. Have you ever finished a full coverage piece? No. I have a Haid in my pattern stash, but I've never, I've not started it, and therefore I've never finished one. And until I kind of got into the whole Flosstube watching and the groups on Facebook, I hadn't even heard of them. I'd not heard of Haid, I hadn't heard of Tilton Crafts or Mystic Stitch or any of the other ones that are out there. So it's like a whole new world really for me to explore. But as yet, and although I've bought one, I haven't started it, mainly because it's such a big project. And as you can see, I have many projects already on the go. So there's a bit of me that's reluctant to start such a big project before seeing some more of what I've got on the go finished. For reels though, do you enjoy confetti? Well, because I've not done a full coverage, I don't know if I'd really considered that I'd done confetti. So I don't think it bothers me. I think it's more about what kind of mood I'm in. So for example, like this piece, this is a really good one to work on when you just want to kind of stitch and not really have to think, because it's got, you know, quite big blocks of colour. So when I wanted to do something a bit more intricate and, you know, reading the pattern, I can do, you know, something where I have to pay more attention. But actually last night when I was watching a film, I did that big block of green at the top, because really I was just colouring in, if you like. So I guess it depends what kind of mood I'm in. For reals though, how many finishes do you have this year, and how does this compare to your number of whips? Well, I have actually got quite a few finishes done this year. I think 6 so far, but most of those projects were started last year, or some of them were even the year before. It just so happens that I kind of put a bit of a push towards getting them finished this year. And has it compared to the number of whips I've got currently on the go? It doesn't compare. It's completely overshadowed by the number of whips that I currently have on the go. For reals though, am I bothered about that? Do I sound bothered? No, I'm really not that bothered. Although that's not entirely true. It's not that I'm bothered by the number of whips I have. I would like fewer whips, but mainly so I could start some more whips. So yeah, I'm kind of just restraining myself a little bit, because I've got loads of things that I would really like to start, you know, and for some of those that, you know, I've got the patterns and the fabric and the cottons and etc, etc. But I am holding myself back a bit on starting them, because I do think that this pile here needs to be a bit smaller before I start adding any more to it. So that's part of what I'm going to do after this, is I'm going to sort it all out to see, you know, what I've got, what I can prioritise, and you know, some things that I would like to see have some real kind of progress on them, and you know, maybe get some more finishes in. So would I like it to be smaller or larger? Well, I'd kind of like it to be smaller, but then I'm going to make it larger again, so a bit neutral with that one, I guess. And for reals though, do you have any dirty little secrets? Oh yeah, I have lots of dirty little secrets. I'm not the most, I'm not a perfectionist, let's put it that way. So little things like carrying threads a little bit of a distance, or if occasionally I have to use a knot, or whatever it might be, I don't really see a big deal about that. I forever fudge things in the pattern, so if I've stitched along and I notice that there's been a mistake, sometimes I'll go back and unpick it if I think it really is going to affect the overall look of something. Or, you know, sometimes if you're in you know, depending on the mood I'm in, I'll be a bit like, no, I really want to go and correct that. Other times I'm a bit kind of like, you know, insert shrug icon in here. So I know, for example, the green hill that's in the middle here, I miscounted as I was doing that. So there's one green row that has an extra stitch in it than it should have. And I didn't realise until I'd stitched another 2 further rows on top of it. I'm not going to go back and pick out one green stitch in a hill, which is part of the background. To me, that's kind of, you know, who's going to know? Well, I mean, apart from me, because I stitched it, and now everybody who watches my videos will know that. But, you know, who's going to know? And other dirtiest, yeah, okay, so knots. So this is one I finished recently. If you watched my last video, you would have seen this. This is Bell and Boo and Falling Leaves. So, you know, finished, happy. We'll have a look in at her face there. All looks nice and smooth, all very pretty. Lurking on the back, though, some of you might need to look away because this might be too scary for you. Look at this. This big knot here happened sometime while I was stitching, and I didn't notice until after I've done it. But you know what? I went back to the front, I gave all those little stitches a tug, none of them moved, so I didn't do anything about it. So yeah, that's the kind of stitcher I am. And I suppose if you want messiest backs, you can have a look at all of my backs, I don't care. That's the back of that one. I want to have an even closer look. Have a look in, yeah, you can see all the little bits where I've tucked it under, and yeah, this is quite messy down here, all the back stitching on the white, but you know what, when you turn it round, you can't see it. So yeah, for reals though, messy backs, that's me. So that's the tag by Adele, which is great, and I've really liked listening to everybody's answers for that one, so thank you, Adele, for taking the time to do that one. I enjoyed that. So I'm now at 12 minutes, so what I might do is just quickly do another couple of my whips, end this video and then do a second one, just so that I can be sure that these are going to be uploaded. I know that's a bit of a pain in the bottom, but you know, hey, what can you do? I'm a stitcher, I'm not a photographer. So my second one that I've been working on is the Sunflower Fairy. This is a Nora Corbett design which I downloaded from Hirschners.com. I presume that's how you pronounce it. And I've done a fair bit of work on her as well. So again, if I can insert a photograph, I will. I have to say, the mood I'm in today, I probably won't, because yeah, today's not one of those motivated days. Today is the day that I would fudge, not unpick. So you know. But yeah, I've made quite a bit of progress on her. So since you last saw her, I've put in all the rest of this top flower here, all of the sunflower, and finished off all the petals coming down here. And I've also completed this side of her wing. And this is beautiful. Let's have a look so you can see the colours in this. Go close up on it. So you can see it's got some really lovely kind of purples and just really nice shading through there. I did look at the purple and I think, oh, that's a bit purple, but actually I think it works really well in there. Now the other thing I did start to do was look at her skin, and I don't know if you can see, but there are some 1/1 stitches here. In fact, that's a lie. They are 2/1 stitches here for her skin. So I did put in somewhere in this kind of gap here, I did do some 1/1 stitches, but I couldn't see it. So I was a bit like, I mean, it's really, I found it quite tricky because this is the first time I've done 1/1, but I couldn't see it. So then I started doing 2/2. No, oh gosh, what am I talking about? Doing 2/1, and I think you can see those a bit better. But oh, I was stitching along, and again, I'll show you the back. I don't care. The cotton just frayed apart on me, so I'm going to have to unpick it, and I wasn't really in the mood for doing that at the time, so I need to go back and do that. But I was just going to ask some quick advice before I finish this for people that do their skin 1/1. Would you put the outline of the skin on first, and that outline, would you do it as the final outline, or do you outline it, stitch the 1/1 or 2/1, then unpick the outline and then put the proper back stitch in? inquiring minds would like to know. So if you can, or you can comment, I'd really appreciate that. Okay, 15 minutes. I'm going to stop this one now and then come back for a second video, okay? Okay, so moving on, this is part 2 of my update for March 2016, and continuing looking at all the whips that I've got, all of my works in progress. So this is another one. I did a auto delivery of A Year in Chalk by Hands On Design, but I actually only have started one of them, which is this one, the Plant Seeds of Joy, which is May. I think this might have been a Stitch Mania start. I don't quite remember, but as you can see, I didn't really get very far. I only really did this one, and it's mainly because, and Sherry was talking this, I was watching her video update yesterday, this fabric is, I mean, it's just there's nothing to it, it's just soft and floppy, it's black, so it's quite difficult, and of course it's linen, so actually, if you can see the holes, then trying to get the needle into that hole is really quite challenging. So I haven't really got very far with that, and as there are 12 in the series, I've got quite a bit of work to do on those. So that's whip number 3. Number 4 is my Mirabilia. So this was started with everybody else in January of 2015, but I've done woeful process on here. So that's Elizabeth. And that's really how much I've got done. So really all I've done on her is about, I don't know, 2/3 or 1/3 of her bow. So really not very much at all. But I do actually really enjoy working on her, and I am looking forward to picking her back up again. I think because she's quite a big whip, I focused my attention on some of the ones that I knew that I could see a bit of progress with, but I do look forward to picking her up again. So that's 4. I also have one that you won't have seen before. This is from a book. This is 101 Best Loved Designs from Cross Stitch and Country Craft. I know a few other people have shown this book, but for a different pattern. The one that I'm working on is this one, which is called Halloween Hauntings. Now, I started this quite a long time ago. I mean, I didn't get very far, but this was my first time working with Krennic or and it's glow-in-the-dark stuff that I've used on here. And again, I'm going to ask a question while I can, because you know, you may as well be useful to me, hey ho. This is using the blending filament Krennic, and this is a glow-in-the-dark here, and this is what I've stitched or begun to stitch the ghost in here. Now I stitched just using this. Should I have actually done what it says and blended it? And so would you normally do this with like one thread of this and then a thread of something else? The instructions I don't think are that clear and didn't tell me, so I don't know whether I've done that right or not. So if you let me know, that would be grand. This has kind of been sat in a box for a couple of years, so it's one of those, it's a whip but kind of not really a whip, if that makes sense. And I think that's number 5. Oh, I'm not very good at counting, am I? Number 6 is one you won't have seen before. This is a Michael Powell pattern, and this is a mini Christmas window, and this one is almost complete. So that's how much I've done of it, and this is the first pattern that I've ever done which had blended threads in it. So there are quite a few blended threads in here, lots of quarter stitches, 3/4 stitches, which is why it was always slow progress. And really, I mean, if you look back at it, it's mainly the back stitching to do, and then I've just got this kind of lower bit down here to finish. So this is kind of an almost there but not quite there. So that will get picked up again at some point. Was that 5, 6? I don't know, I think 6. Number 7 I can't show you because I've only got the picture, because I've only got this. It's a download and I don't have a front cover for it, but it's just this one that I bought on Etsy, and these are flower heads, and I just started it because it was quite pretty. The mistake I made was I stitched it on Ada, and then there's lots of 1/4 and 3/4 stitches in here, which made it just really hard work. So that's kind of gone away, but you know, UFO maybe someday it might get finished, who knows. My next one is a Needleworks by Sue Hawkins, and this is Beach Hut Scissor Keep, which, you know, really cute, 3D. Put it on the end of your scissors. Well, I've stitched it, and actually this is done in tent stitch, I believe. So it's all done. The reason that I haven't progressed with it, and you can see here, if I hold it up, it needs some French knots added on for like the door handle and some of the flower pots around here. So I've been practicing my French knots, but they've defeated me. So this project's kind of just come to a standstill. And who knows, if ever I do master the art of a French knot, that may actually get finished one day. But it might be, now that I've got a bit of a bead collection, maybe I'll just do some beads for it, because that is literally all that needs, and then obviously stitching up and finished. This one you would have seen before. This is my Lizzie Kate 6 Fat Snowman. So I've stitched Snowed In, which is the first one, and I've been doing the outline boxes to put them all together. This came to a bit of a standstill because I didn't actually have all of the threads that I needed, and as you can see, I've also made a bit of a boo-boo, because in the picture he's got a red hat and my version he's wearing a blue hat. But you know, matchy, matchy, matchy. None of this kind of random snowman in my garden. But I do have all 6 of those, so at some point that will be picked up again. So that's number... oh. I'm so useless, I've no idea. That's number whatever. This one, don't adjust your cameras, it is blurred. The reason this didn't progress is because all of the pattern printed out like this as well, and I must have lost it or deleted it. I don't know what I did with it. So I'm probably going to have to repurchase to be able to finish this. But this is a Golden Girls pattern. And again, part of Stitch Mania last year. I mean, that's almost 11, well, it is 11 months ago. That's all I managed to get done on that. So the slice of cake and the bottom of, oh, her name's gone from my head. Blanche Devereaux, that's her name, isn't it? The bottom of her dress started. So, yeah, another whip. This whip is who's this by? My mind's gone blank. This is by the Bay Needle Art, and this is the Serenity Harbour sampler. So this was released month by month last year, and I knew I was going to struggle to do it last year because, and clearly I did, because you can see it stops abruptly just down here. I have just this month, so part of the March stitching I did was complete part 3, so kind of from this bit down and across here. And I say complete, it's not actually complete, because if you have a look in here, you'll see there's a beak of a bird and the outline of a wing of one of the birds, but the other colour that makes up the main body of this one and is for the 2 wings on these birds, I didn't actually have, so I'm just waiting. Just need to order that. But my plan with this one, this is going to be an active whip now for this year, is to do each section month by month as much as I can. Although, as you can see, the first 3 months there's not a huge amount of stitching. Part 4, which I want to start this month, there's quite a bit of stitching in this one. But actually I can't start that because I'd kind of forgotten, but now I remember. I was going to buy the threads as I went along, and so I need to go and purchase the rest of these threads. And I can't remember for the life of me what the name of the website is in the UK which has the best value for DMCs. So again, if anyone's watching, if you want to remind me down below, I would be most grateful for that. So that's another whip. It's a massive piece of fabric, this one. A lot of you will recognise this one, which I'm glad about because the name has completely gone from... Box of Delights by Elizabeth Almond. So it's a free download available on her website. This, I think, might have been a Stitch Mania start. I've no idea, can't remember now. Probably should write things down, but never do. And so, as you can see, I was going to do all of them in one pattern, and I'm just doing the outline to start with. But this one, I don't think I've worked on for, I can't remember when I last worked on it, but it will get done. You know, it's still sat there, so one day I shall come back to it. This one, hopefully lots of you will recognise. I haven't done anything further for this. This is the Santa's Village by, who does this? Country Cottage Needleworks. Is it Country Cottage Needleworks or Little House Needleworks? Country Cottage, I think. Can't remember. You know who it's by. I clearly don't, but you know who it's by. So I've got another 4 of these to add onto the bottom of the fabric here. So again, at some point this will be done, and I'd quite like to get, now I've done the Cottage of the Month series and they're done, I probably pick this one up and start doing this one again, but I don't feel particularly Christmassy at the moment, so that hasn't got worked on. Although saying I don't feel particularly Christmassy, I have started work on this one, which is a Santa, although he doesn't look particularly Christmassy, I don't think. This is a Celtic Santa and this is the Welsh one, and I'm going to do this as a Christmas decoration present for my mum, but I'm going to try and get it done, and so I can give it to her for her birthday in November, so she can actually put it on the tree if she so chooses. So this is a new start, but I didn't really do very much on this one, so as you can see I've just started stitching this blue colour on his coat. But I did the duck for my mum last month and I loved it. I love the Mill Hill kits, so I knew that I would do some more. So I've got this one and I've also got the Irish one for my dad. So there's another whip. I hope you're all counting because I'm not. Somebody can put down below and tell me how many whips I've got if you feel so inclined. This one is a Waxing Moon design that I started as part of the Orange is the New Black stitch along in Stitch Mania, which I think was it August or I don't know, sometime last year. I think I watched 2 or 3 episodes of the series and then stopped, so the stitching stopped. So that's as far as I've got on this one as well. And I don't know why, because actually I really like this pattern and I actually quite enjoy watching Orange is the New Black. I think I just got distracted with other things because, yeah, I'm easily distracted. Oh, that was a question, wasn't it, for reals? Do I suffer from SAD? Is that what it is? I don't think I answered that one, did I? I think I'm answering it now, aren't I? I am easily distracted. I can't even answer the questions in a numerical order. Clearly I'm distractible. So yeah, so that's a whip. That will get worked on at some point. This one, I don't think I've ever shown on this one. This was a present from my mum a couple of years ago for Christmas. I was kind of with her and chose it. The best Christmas presents really, aren't they? This is an anchor pattern and it's the Red Flowers series, and there's 3 kind of separate patterns within this one. So I'm working on the second one. Well, I say working, I'm not really working, it's on respite in a box. So, but I would like to pull this one out and work on it again. So this is the second one that's on here. I'll just bring the pattern back on. So this is this leaf. That's not a leaf, is it? Petal bit down on here. So I've got quite a bit more to do on this one, but I did do the stitching on the first one. So these are the 2 poppies, and this is the reason I chose this, because I absolutely love these 2 flowers. It's still a whip though, because I haven't done the back stitching on it, and then I've just got another piece ready to do the third on. So yeah, is that 1 or 2 whips? I don't know, count it as many as you like, I don't mind. Another whip. This is Helen Phillips Cross Stitch Garden Notebook, and this is the potting shed. Now I haven't done any more work on this. In fact, the only thing I did since you saw it last is I cut the fabric down to size because it was really irritating me, but I haven't gone back and stitch over the edges. So that's how far I've got on this one. And this one probably fits in with the Stitch Mania theme for April, which is April showers bring May flowers. So this fits in quite nicely because I think, what is it? It's anything flowers or with water, or so I thought this would work. The bothy threads would work because of the water that's in there, and my sunflower fairy would fit because it's a flower, quite clearly. So yeah, so I'll probably carry on working on those 3 things. This one started as Stitch Mania last year, haven't worked on it for a while. This is called Up the Garden Path, and that's how much I've done of it so far. So there's still quite a bit to go on this one. And, you know, it might get some love and attention at some point. See the back? See? Oh, that's quite messy, isn't it? Oh, look at all those carried threads. Aren't I terrible? Send me to cross stitcher's jail. Actually, that might be quite nice if you could take your cross stitch with you. Mind you, there's probably not good lighting in there, is there? So maybe not. Anyway, I digress. This is Bothy Threads. This is King and Queens, and I've not looked at this for a while, so this is how much I've done on this whip. So, what's that? Probably a quarter. maybe a quarter, maybe not, because actually I've not done any of the names underneath, have I? So it's probably not quite that much, but again, it's a nice little stitch. It will get done sometime. I enjoy it. I'm wondering whether I stop now because I'm coming up for 15 minutes and actually do this in 3 parts. I think that's going to have to be the case, so I shall see you shortly. So, part 3 of my March 2016 update. I will have a look to see if I can actually paste these together. I don't know if that's an option, but people put their blogs together, don't they? So I'll give it a go. I don't know. That sounds like hard work. If it's easy, I'll do it. If it's not, you'll get 3 videos. And, you know, it's up to you whether you want to watch them or not. This is another whip that, you know, it's kind of a whip / UFO. This is Dolly Mamas and it is Crazy Quilter. And that's how much I've done. I mean, it's token, really. I really didn't get very much on this one, but I quite like this one. She's quite sweet. I kind of like the little patchwork squares that you've got down at the bottom holding hands. Aren't they cute? And they're pretty cool shoes she's got on as well, aren't they? So, yeah. So, you know, it'll get done at one point. I think I just wanted something with bright colours when I pulled this one out. So, and that's just an Ada. This is a pattern by the Stitching Shed. I might have shown this before because I think I pulled it out and said I was going to finish it, but I haven't. Not yet anyway. So this is the pattern and this is how much I've got done. So really the majority of it's done. I've just got to complete the border on it. So yeah, so there's like the back stitching of stitch and then sew in this box up here, and then these are like buttons to sew on, and this is a felt flower that I've got to sew on. So there's just a few additional things to do on that one. It's almost there. So that's a whip. God knows what number that one is. This one was another start as part of Stitch Mania, and this is part of the Beside the Seaside series, and this is Beach Hut. So there's 4 in the series, and actually I do now have all 4 in the series, so you know I really need to get my finger out and do these, but my idea was that all 4 of these would be kind of framed together, and I was thinking like a nice crisp white border or frame to go with it, but that's probably about 20 years off at the rate that I'm progressing, because especially as that's what I did as my Stitch Mania start, so really very little done on this one, and obviously I'm focusing on the other one at the moment, so this probably won't get any love and attention while that one's going on. We now move to probably my oldest whips, and I know that you won't have seen this one, and I have no idea if you can get this one anymore, because this one is probably, oh, I don't know, 20 years old. It might be just over. So this is it's obviously Cinderella, and it's a Disney film collection one, and that's how much I got done of it. And I don't know how well you can see this, but I've pulled this out and looked at it a few times, but because it's so old, I mean I've got it on one of these really old frames, I don't even know if I've got the bars to fit this on anymore, so I'll probably have to redo that, but let's see, I don't know if you can see the fabric is kind of stained and dirty, and I can see that the stitching is a little bit, you know, that there's a bit of dirt in there as well. And I don't know what to do about this one, because I do kind of, I think for sentimental reasons I'd quite like to finish it, because it's, you know, there's quite a bit of work in here. Yeah, I haven't decided. I don't know. The one thing that I do need to be careful of, and I'll come close for this so you can have a look. Can you see? Is it going to focus? It's not going to focus, is it? I'll pull that out before you get a bit blurry-eyed. On this one, when I started stitching, quite clearly, I obviously went that way first and then that way, because my top stitches are lying from bottom left to top right. Now I don't know when it happened, but now I stitch, and I can show you this on my next, look at the back on that one. How terrible, call the police. on this one, the stitches go from, my top stitches go bottom right to top left. So at some point in my stitching career, I obviously changed the direction of which I do my stitches. So I think if I do go back and pick that one up, I'd have to think quite carefully about what I was doing. So another whip. This, it's not my last either. This is another Bothy Threads, and this is cut through haberdasheries, and this is just all about the back stitching. So I started doing the back stitching, but I do find it a little bit tedious, to be honest, because you kind of have to pay attention and do it with the pattern. And I thought I might try the Katie method of doing like 15 minutes on it every day. Yeah, that didn't really work. I must admit I didn't fully commit to it, so maybe I'll go back to it and try that, because really that's all that's got to be done to it. And you know, I'd quite like this one finished, but yeah, maybe I should try that. But then, you know, I think this one has taught me that what I really should do is do the back stitching as I go along. So, you know, I think I'm learning my lesson the hard way there. And you can have a look at the back on that one. That one's quite, well, you know, it is what it is. Other ones that I've got, this one I couldn't, I've got the magazine. This is from a magazine, and I don't know where the magazine is at the moment, but this is a, oh, what's it from? The Cross Stitcher, I think it is. If you're interested, just let me know and I can tell you the details, but it's in one of my previous videos. And I did think that I was going to get this one done, but I haven't picked it up and looked at it, so it's still out there lurking around. So that's another whip, so however many number that is. And then I've got my final one, which I'll have to bring in. Ooh, is this one. I have got the front somewhere. Here you go. Oops, got a whole load of cross stitch whips falling on me now, so excuse me a second. This is a Britain and Stitches pattern, and this is of Somerset, which is the county that I kind of grew up in. I think we moved there when I was 6 or 7, and I am from, and might be easier to see it on here, a town called Yeovil, which is right here on the border with Dorset. So this one, this I think is older than the Cinderella whip. I think I was at home when I had this one, and I left home when I was 18, so it's probably about, I'm going to give away my age now, well I don't mind, I'm 43, it's probably about 25 years old, this one. And as you can see, there is a significant amount of this one done, and the thing that really slowed me down on this one, I mean there's a few bits to add in kind of along the coastline, as you can see, and I don't know, yeah, maybe just some of the kind of, I think they're kind of the stately homes and things that need to be added. Can you see that? Go on, focus. You know you want to. It really doesn't want to focus today. There's just still the houses and things to add in. But the thing that slowed me down on this one, and this probably was when I was a beginner stitcher, was the emblem here. Sorry, it's a bit shaky, but you can see, or maybe you can't because it's not that clear, but it's really quite cruddy, the quality of the stitching here. I didn't really know what half stitches or quarter stitches were. So I think if I was to pick this one up, I would want to unpick that and start that bit again, but the rest of it, actually looking at it, is pretty good. Stitching's not bad at all on that one, surprisingly. What way are my stitches going? Yeah, so it's going bottom left, top right, so yeah. So again, I'd really have to think about that, wouldn't I, because it's opposite from what I do now. So yeah, and this one has been living on this frame for like, I don't know, probably 20, 25 years. But I don't know, I quite like that one. It's quite nice, isn't it? It would be nice to have it finished. Yeah, so babbling away. So as I said, I've been sorting some things out. So I've got a couple of things to show. I've bought myself one of these, which is from So Much to Love, which is so and then to So Much to Love, and she's based in the States. I can't remember her name for the life of me. Oh look, here we go. So Much to Love. Etsy.com. Oh look, I'm not even showing you. And she had a little sale recently, so that's why I bought it. I was a bit worried because it was coming from the States, and obviously I've been burnt before about having to pay VAT on those things, but actually I think because it was in the sale, it made it that it just came under that $20 price range, so I didn't have to pay anything. In terms of other stash, I've bought a new book which is beautiful. This is called The Cross Stitch Garden, and this is, I'm sorry, I'm not going to try and pronounce the name, but I bought it without seeing it because this pattern on the front, this bramble here, which you can see, the leaves are stitched, and then all of these berries are beads, and this is beautiful. I probably won't flick through it today, but if anyone wants to have a closer look in that, I'm happy to do that at a later date. I'm just going to finish this, I think, with the final things, because I've been having a sort out. And one of the things, sorry, you're going to be jogged around a bit while I do this, is I never used to like mirabilias, but as you can see, that's changed, and I now have quite a healthy collection of mirabilias in my stash. And in the process of buying these mirabilias, and I did pick them up at, a couple of good prices, I have ended up with doubles in my stash. So I have 2 of the Royal Holiday, the Christmas Queen, and I have 2 of this one, which is the Woodland Fairy. So if you've hung in this long, well done to all of you, because what I would like to do is a giveaway. And the giveaway will be to win either the Woodland Fairy or the Royal Holiday, the Christmas Queen. I probably won't put giveaway in the title. There is another way that people have been referring to it, but I can't remember what it is. I might have a look and see if I can remember that. But you're welcome to enter. You can enter for both, but you can only win one. I don't mind where in the world you are entering from, so I'll post internationally. Obviously I'm based in the UK. You need to be over 18, and you need to be a subscriber to my channel as well, please. And I would prefer it if you were going to stitch these rather than you sell them. But I guess I will never know if that's what you do. So if you were interested in winning either of these mirabilia patterns, then if you just comment below, you can just say enter me, that will be fine. In fact, if you put enter me and tell me whether you want to go for fairy or queen, you can just put fairy or queen, then I'll see it very easily. It is the, what is it? I think it's the 3rd of April, Sunday the 3rd of April today. So I will leave this open until, I've no idea. When should I leave it open until? I would look at my calendar, but my calendar's on my phone and that's what I'm using to record. So I will leave it, if I upload it today, I'll give it 2 weeks. So whatever is 2 weeks from today will be the closing date. And then I can let you know. I'll do a quick video just to let you know who the winners are. And I've probably used random number generator. Depends on how many people enter. I've no idea how many subscribers I get and how many people will watch this. I think 2 weeks is long enough. I think I'm just a bit, I wonder if I should give it a bit longer. I'm just thinking because this is the time of the month, isn't it, when everybody uploads videos and you can feel quite in control, and then there's like 400 videos about March updates, so whether people get around, oh no, 2 weeks is fine. I'm such a Librian, can never make up my mind. 2 weeks, so 2 weeks a day it will close, whatever that day is on the Sunday, and I'll probably do it, I'll say 2 o'clock in the afternoon because that will give me time, so 2 o'clock UK time, 2 weeks a day, because that will give me time to upload a winner video on that day, and a chance to then hopefully people let me know so I can get into the post that following week. So now I need to put all of this stuff away. So I've started just by piling all my mirabilia charts together because these were spread across 3 different boxes, which is probably why I ended up with some duplicates. But one thing I have done is I did go out and buy myself a big new box. Oops. which I've just thrown on the floor, so I'm not going to show it to you, but it's partly because that's my whip box and it's a bit overflowing, so I'm going to move the whips into the bigger box, which is now on the floor, and then that box I'm probably going to put all my memorabilia charts in. So I have a very exciting Sunday ahead of me. So thank you very much if you've managed to make it through all 3 of my videos. Well done. I put my thumb up but you can't see it. Well done to all of you, and I shall see you next month. Bye.